but not to say that I have been actively working on it, because I had finished the novel in a pretty short space of time, and I will explain that to you a bit later. But I really sat on this novel because I think, even though I have a media background and I'm used to what it takes to be able to, I'm familiar with what it takes to be able to promote something and what you need to do, I think because it was more of a personal project, I was probably a little bit hesitant, because I knew the moment I released this book, I'm going to have to talk about it, I'm going to have to try to sell it, I'm going to have to really go into overdrive to promote this book that I believe in so much. So now that it's released, I am prepared to continue going with the momentum, and I'm very excited. I really just wanted to share a little bit about the history of Meraki. Meraki is actually the first novel I have published, but it's not the first book I've written. The first book I wrote was actually called Mars. It was a fictional love story, not so fictional at the same time, but there's lots of fictional aspects to it, which I thought really enhanced what it was about. And I had gone to a publishing conference, which I thought would be very helpful to helping me to really just find out what to do next. Okay, I'm finished this book, I've never written a book before, so what are the avenues to get it published and get it out to the world? At this publishing conference, what I found was that a lot of the people who attended were people who were just starting off their books for various reasons. There were people who wanted to use these books as a branding tool, as a marketing tool to kind of establish themselves as experts in their field, which was all well and good, but I mean, it was for writers and it was for publishing processes. So I was there, and at this conference I came with my manuscript finished, and everybody's planning and we're going through these planning activities. So in the interest of not wasting any time, I started to plan a second novel that I really had no idea when I would publish. But I mean, I realized right away that the planning process was very different from what I had done with Mars. With Mars, it was more spontaneous. Maybe you have more leeway to do that when you write fiction, but I tend to be very spontaneous with my writing as well as a journalist, and I prefer when the ideas just come to me and everything just flows. I could have an idea coming to me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I just write it down. In the morning I can just, go with it and it just flows. I don't really have to put much of an effort into it, I feel like. And that was not the case with Meraki. It was a process of planning, chapter by chapter, what each chapter was going to be about, who the characters were going to be, what were the questions I wanted to ask, and what were the answers that I wanted to these questions. Because I really wanted Meraki to be a self-help book, but in the process I feel like this book just took on a life of its own, and it ended up being a lot more than just that, although I still think it's inspirational in the sense that the main message is just don't give up, keep hoping, keep believing. And I really used my experiences and experiences of other people that I've met in the course of my journey and my career as a journalist and in my own life as well. So the planning was different. Mars was like putting together a puzzle of those random bits of inspiration, and Meraki was just really trying to make sure the finer details were in order before even starting to write. And I really am happy with the end product. It has really exceeded my expectations, and there are about 12 chapters in here, and the first one starts with rock bottom. I kind of really detail certain experiences in there that I felt like I had to start from the very beginning, and experiences that really taught me. So there's rock bottom, there's uncharted waters, growing pains, and then I'll skip right over to faith. There's a chapter called Matters of the Heart, which speaks about love, my experience with love, and trying to understand love as well, and it ends with a chapter called Trust the Process. So yeah, I think that the names of the chapters really give you a sense of what you can find in there. I'm really excited. I do plan to release my second novel before the end of 2018, but for now, Meraki is available for purchase on Amazon. I will be having my book launch soon, and I'm really excited about that, and I will be sharing more details as soon as I have them.